really last week we left here and did the National Day of Prayer thing, and we went out, and that did a great thing. I don't know if you know this or not, but we came back with about 45 contacts with phone numbers, which is awesome. So we got some people that wanted prayer, and we're going to try to incorporate that at least once a quarter and to go do that, okay? So last week when you left here, we said this week was going to be Witnessing Wednesday, since we really didn't do that last week. Because really the first Wednesday of every month, we go out and we share Jesus. So everybody leaves the building and we go do that, or some stay in here and pray. So that's going to be June. So we've already got it. So I was thinking about that, and I said, okay, this thing had already kind of passed my mind on an event that's coming up in August, and I'll talk about that at the end. But I think this will fit along with Scripture perfectly right here, what we need to be doing, and it'll go right back to what Johnny Hunt preached Monday night here. So look at Romans 15, and we're going to read verse 14 through 17. So Romans 15, you don't have to stand up tonight, be okay. Romans 15, and we start in verse 14. Now Paul is about to conclude his message to the church at Rome, which is a Gentile church. So that's us, okay? So Romans chapter 15, verse 14, the Bible says, "And I myself also am persuaded of you, my brethren." So Paul's saying this to the church, saying, I'm persuaded of you that you also are full of goodness, filled with all knowledge, also able to admonish one another. Nevertheless, brethren, I have written the more boldly unto you in some sort, as putting you in mind, because of the grace that is given to me of God, that I should be the minister of Jesus Christ to the Gentiles, ministering the gospel of God, that the offering of the Gentiles might be acceptable, being sanctified by the Holy Ghost. I have therefore, whereof I may glory through Jesus Christ in those things which pertain to God. So I want to notice something right here. Very beginning, first of all, anybody that's been around church at all, or been in the South at all, you'll know that Paul was an absolute, when he was Saul, he was an absolute terror to the church. Havoc was just absolutely chaos because of him. He was standing by when Stephen got stoned, held the coat for them to literally stone Stephen to death. Not only that, he is going in Acts chapter 9 to Damascus to pick up some Jewish converts that had come to the church, to bring them back to Jerusalem, to have them killed, beheaded, whipped, beaten, put in prison, one of the above. So Paul is literally causing havoc in the church. But on the way back, or on the way to Damascus, the Lord meets him, and Paul is changed just like what we said. Now, look here. I'm not telling you that Paul murdered nobody, but Paul says, Scripture, I am the chiefest sinner among all of you. So, here we go back to what we just said. Paul understood that any sin is still sin, and there is no worse sin than another sin, and he's saying, I am as bad as any of you here. Now imagine that, because when we think of Paul, we think of a saint. We think of the whole New Testament just about. I mean, 2/3 of the New Testament is written by Paul. When we think about Paul, we think about that end of it. But look, before that, he's saying he is as bad as anybody that he was writing to at that time. You said, well, now that's been 2,000 years ago. They weren't real bad then. Are you out of your mind? They were bad, just as bad then as they were now. In fact, Jesus said himself that the days when he comes back is going to be just like it was in the days of Noah. So look, perversion has always been here. And you can go back to the Scriptures if we had time, and I don't, but you can go back to the Scriptures and realize what happened is they come off the ark in Genesis chapter 9, 10, and 11, and you'll see that perversion was there in the Old Testament. Perversion was there in the New Testament. It was something that was around. So the only thing different now than then is we have more ways to get that perversion pushed out in front of our eyes. We have our phones on our hip, we have our computers at our house. We have smart TVs that are smarter than us. We have things that do things all over the place now that we can see things on that 30 years ago we wouldn't have. Not only that, we've got satellites, we've got radios, we've got things that we can communicate from here all the way around the world in the palm of our hand. So we have the ability now to promote those things more than ever. And you know, by the way, while I'm right there, let me just say something about the perversion that comes on TVs now. So let me make a statement about something. Would anybody in here, we're grown-ups, okay? Anybody in here tonight, would you go to your neighbor's house and knock on their window for their bedroom, tell them to roll up the blinds where you can watch them have sex? Would anybody do that? Y'all will think, man, that's perverted. Wait a minute, but you'll turn on your TV. You'll turn on your TV and watch the same thing. Look here, it ain't a bit of difference. We're sitting here calling somebody a pervert over here when we'll turn right back on the same. You understand? We got perversions every. Listen, there ought to be a child of God. Watch none of that garbage. And let me step a little bit further. Look, if you're paying for it to be on your TV, it's prostitution. That's what it is. You're paying. You wouldn't pay to go to your neighbor's house and watch them in the window, then why are you paying it to come through a box on a cable satellite? I didn't mean to preach that bad tonight, but look here, that's where we are. We have gotten to where we dumb it down to think it's okay and it can be solved. Look, there's no such thing. If it's naked bodies, you're not supposed to be looking if it's not your wife or your husband. Oh, before I'm married, absolutely, you're not supposed to. It's still sin. And is that happening in church? Absolutely. So look, we've got to get this in our mind that perversion is not it's not some Ted Bundy watching somebody do it and then cutting them up in pieces. It's the church that's watching it on their TVs. That's where we've come to today. And we think that it is no problem. I'm going to tell you something. You cannot do that and be the witness that Paul's telling us to be in these scriptures. There is no way to live that way. Now, I know somebody in here saying, well, I don't have to worry about that. I'm 80. Are you kidding me? Surely you don't want to go that way. We won't even preach that, okay? You understand, though, that Paul is sitting here saying that he is the chief among sinners. But look at what he does. This is an epitome of a soul winner in these verses. Look at what he does. Number one, in that verse right there, verse 14, he does the very first thing that he does, he gets personal with everybody. Look at what he says. I myself am persuaded of you, my brethren, that you are also full of goodness. Look at what Paul does very first back off to the Romans. Paul goes and commends them. Paul encourages them. Paul says, look here, you're chief sinners. Now, did I just preach that? Yes, we are all that. Okay? But now here's what happens. Let's encourage you. If you've been to Calvary, God doesn't say that. So here's the encouragement. Now, you are a new creature. Now, old things have passed away. Now you're new in Christ. And isn't that amazing that that's what happens when you go to the cross? Look here, what we must do is see that so that we can now encourage one another. And you know what happens most of the time in the church? I mean, hallelujah. That's a new convert shout. The Baptist ain't got a hold of her yet. See, what happens to most churches, somebody will, you got to calm down. Don't get so excited. Don't be saying, look, let's don't do that. We're dignified here. Why don't you just shout, you know what you got? So be encouraged that you've got Jesus in your life. Look here, you can't go out and witness and be a sad sap sourpuss running out of the church building and giving any encouragement to anybody out there. We've got to be glorifying the Lord. And how are we going to do that? By encouraging other people. Now, you know, let me just say, discouragement is not a spiritual gift. Negativity is not a spiritual gift. Instead of looking for something wrong in somebody, why don't you praise them for something that's right in them? Everybody has something right. Everybody's a chief sinner. But why don't you look at them like Paul did by encouraging them? So let me give you just a little bit of that for this church. 79 souls have been saved and baptized since August. Hallelujah. 65 have come since the first of the year. 49, well, wait a minute. 50, 51, 52. 52 have come since March the 17th. Praise the Lord. Now look here, and most of those, bless your heart, did not come from right here. Most of them came because y'all brought them here. Most of them came because somebody went and witnessed to them. Somebody went to the hospital. Somebody went and brought in some vests. Somebody else did this over here. Most of that did not come from right here. But all the church normally wants to do is say, well, that's the preacher's job. No, it's everybody's job. We're supposed to be sharing the truth of the gospel. And that's what Paul does. He admonishes them. He says, hey, this is what you are about. This is how good you are. Everybody should lift up everybody else. So let me give you the first challenge in this building tonight. When you leave here tonight, we're going to get at the end. And what we're going to do is we're going to tell somebody something good about what they've done before we leave here. Somebody else, you tell them. So we're going to go to somebody and say, look, you've done this. Now look, for the cause of Jesus Christ. I'm going to name my two right now and I'm going to embarrass them, okay? But Monday night, Jana and Kitty, I'm telling you, if it had not been for them, it would have been an absolute cluster in that kitchen in there. They did it not to be me shouting them and raising them up. I know they did it. They did it because they were trying to serve the Lord. Thank you. Encourage. Hallelujah. Now, we could gripe and say, well, you know, you didn't serve the tea on the left side of the plate instead of the right. No, look. Hallelujah that they did something. Because I'm going to say it, it's just us. No, it ain't. It's TV, but okay. But here, listen. Nobody else lifted a finger from none of the rest of the churches. So hallelujah for these two. Hallelujah. So I'm saying that because, look, we ought to encourage it. Why? Because everybody's got a good measure of a gift. Everybody here, according to Scriptures, has a measure. Once you're saved, God gives you the ability to use your gift. I don't know what it is, preacher. Well, then get in the book. He'll show you. But don't sit and say you don't have nothing. Everybody has a measure of the gift of God in them. Maybe more than one, but you've got the ability. So what we need to be doing is lifting up people. So we need to find somebody that's an encourager. So would you pick up the phone and be friends and call somebody every day when all you heard was how bad everything was? You wouldn't call them. In fact, when the phone rang, you'd turn it off the ringer. You'd say you're not there. You'd tell them you're busy somehow. But if you get somebody over here that's positive about things. See, you know, most Baptist churches, the altars could have 100 in it, 5 get saved, you baptize 10 people, and you leave, and somebody's going to gripe because it was too cold in the building. Come on, man. We're worried. We're not worried about it being hot or cold. We're worried about people coming to Jesus. Who cares? Look, if the building falls down, what's important is what happens eternally. So let's lift up people. Let's encourage them. That's what Paul did. He makes it, encourages them so that they can share the Word of God. So I'm going to encourage you again. There's some people in here that I could name, but I won't again. But see, I know they do this. I've heard them do it. Never make a fanfare, but I've heard of them. They'll be out somewhere and say, look, you've got to come visit our church. It's just the best church. This is the best church I've ever seen, man. The people are so friendly. It's a big church, but it's not a big church. There's a group of people in it, man. We just have fun. We preach the word. We sing old-time songs. We're just, man, this is the best church in the world. You just kind of come visit our church. Now, I know people criticize that. And people say, well, you shouldn't invite people to church. You should invite them to Jesus. Most churches, that's probably right. Because most churches are not going to tell you the truth when you get them there. But if you come here, I can promise you one thing. As long as I'm breathing, they're going to hear the gospel. And secondly, let me go something else. Did you hear Johnny? Go ahead, that's all right. Did you hear Johnny Hunt Monday night? 41 million people in America. 70% of them would come to church and want to come to church if somebody asked them. And you say, well, wait a minute. But that doesn't mean they got saved. No, but if they come here on Wednesday night, they can get saved. They can come here and not even get in the building. They can come. Look, we've had them get saved in the parking lot. It don't matter. God can work wherever. So here's what I'm doing. I'm encouraging you. Whatever it takes for you to be encouraged to share the truth. Oh, well, I'm going to get criticism. Slap the devil in the mouth and go on. Well, I'm going to get rebuked. Knock him in the teeth and move him on. Fred McCoy makes a great statement every time I think about this. When the devil hits at you, just say, devil, you can't even get saved. Get out away from me. Because he can't. So what the devil going to do to you? You're going to listen to somebody that can't even get saved now because he's doomed. You're going to listen to somebody like that. You're going to listen to the encouragement from the Lord. So here's the personal application for this. We need to share Jesus by being a loving, encouraging believer. Look, you may never, ever talk to anybody and give them the exact Romans road that'll come to Jesus. But you may lift up Kobe. You may lift up Teresa, and they may go tell you. When you get to heaven, you got a part of that encouragement. So here's what I'm telling you. We need to get personal with that. Look, though, secondly, here it comes now. Look, in the same verse. He says not only that he gives it full of goodness, but he also able to admonish them. Uh-oh, now look here. Here's what he's saying. We can't love them if we don't tell them the truth. So if somebody in here is in blatant sin and trying to witness, don't you get mad at another believer that comes to try to tell you and help you through that sin. Let them admonish you so they love you. So I told this in Bible study, but I'll give you a perfect example of this. On Monday morning, I had an 86, 7-year-old man that I've been praying for 2 years, and the preacher's been on Monday. Called out his name. They call out names every time. I call out this guy's name every time. I call his name out all the time. Okay, I go to a place that I'm not supposed to be there on that day. Long story short, he's not supposed to be there either. It rolls along. I'm there an hour later. I'm fussing because I'm there an hour later. I got something else to do. But then God shows up. And so see, in spite of us, God shows up. When God shows up, here's what happens. His daughter pulls him into the room. And look, I've tried everything under the sun to get to this man. I've called him on his phone. I've met him in places. I've brought him dinner. I've done everything I can in the 2 years. The daughter got right in front of him, and just like this, and said, Daddy, I got to know one thing. If you die, I got to know. I care too much. I love you too much. Tears running down those eyes. I love you too much. I want to know where you're going to spend eternity. I didn't have to say that. I mean, that man's right there. That man knocked his top. Look, you don't believe that? Let some little kid come ask you the same question. Now, this is not a little kid, but I'm saying, why? Because she loved him enough to care that he's going to hell. Well, what am I supposed to say? She didn't have to say nothing. All she did was say, Daddy, I don't care. I want to know. Most people, if they got a heart at all, that's going to crumble them. And in a matter of about 15 minutes, right there, that 86-year-old man's going to go to heaven. All because somebody cared enough to tell them of their sin. So I'm going to roll right back here to the homosexuality thing. We can tolerate the homosexuality and say that their rights are right and that we have to have the dignity of them, and we can send them straight to hell just like the gossips, just like the thieves, just like the liars, just like the covetous, just like anybody else. Or we can love them. See, what the liberals want to tell you is that that's demeaning them and that's being sexist. No, listen, it's being a loving believer. It is showing the love of Christ. You don't want them to go to hell no more than you want your neighbors or your friends to go to hell. You love them enough to tell them that that's sin. But now here's what happens. Somebody in the church gossips, and you're their friend, and then you say something about it, and they get mad and leave the church. Well, first of all, that's not on you if they do. Because you're supposed to admonish them. According to what Paul said, you're supposed to. That don't mean you go to them and say, hey, now I know you're in your sin, you can't be doing it. No. You love them. Say, look here, I heard something, and it shouldn't happen. And God forbid, listen to me. If they're standing with you in the vestibule and they start gossiping about somebody, don't you listen to it. Stop it. Tell them right there, I was not in front of this. I don't want to hear it. And if you weren't in front of it, don't you tell it either. Stop them from doing it. Why? Because you love them. Don't you want their prayers to be answered? Don't you want them to be serving and witnessing? If you do, then you'll tell them, admonish them to come out of that sin. We won't leave the sinner where it's at. We'll help them grow in Christ. But most churches become judgmental, pharisaical, high and mighty religious, when they got worse sin than the person they're trying to admonish. So you hear me what I'm saying. Paul says that we must tell them. So let me sum this up. You can't act like the devil and share Jesus. You can't live like hell Monday through Saturday and say you're going to heaven on Sunday. You've got to be different. And the way you do that is by showing the love of Christ, by helping them, encouraging them through problems. So David Ray used to always say this, when you're down, find somebody's up. When you're up, find somebody's down. And when you do that, it will make you realize where you need to be. See, when we think we're up here, if we get people up here, we'll look down at these people down here. When we're down here, we'll never see those people up there. But when we help somebody in both directions, we come in unity together. And that's the only way the Bible and the church can be as body believers. We've got to realize our purpose is to help believers. Now look in here. If we had 20 people in here that was in blatant sin and everybody in this building knew it, and we didn't deal with it lovingly to them, what we're really saying is we don't need 100 to worship and to witness and to pray and to study. We only need 80. Huh? We need everybody in here. Look. I need every one of y'all in here praying for me every week. I need every one of y'all in here lifting me up, encouraging me. I need to be back to where somebody over here that's got a gift of hospitality can help in this. I need somebody else to do this. And the same way, y'all need me and everybody else to be that way. So if you see a brother or sister in something, you got to admonish them in love to correct it so that they can be the body for you. You're going to need them one day. So if you see that, that's what Paul's saying. We should be about the king's business, okay? Now why? Look at that verse right there, the last one. Verse 17. I have therefore whereof I may glory through Jesus Christ in those things which pertain to God. When we don't lift others up, when we don't admonish them in their sins, we become a group of sinners that do nothing for the cause of Jesus. Now, I'm not criticizing, but you get a 10 or 12 person, normal attendance church on a Sunday morning, 10 or 12 people, if half of them are in blatant sin, you've got a mess. If the other 6 don't stand up and promote the love of Christ by helping those 6, that church will die. It will go down. Why? Because they can't perform the things pertaining to God in their sins. Oh, you got scripture on that? You cannot even pray when there's iniquity in your heart. You cannot read your scripture and sin at the same time. You can't have an ought against somebody that's building and worship the Lord in the same pews. You got to get rid of that so that you can do it. Look, is that not the purpose we're here for? Is to the things pertaining to God, which are what? God's not hard. Here's the things of God. You get saved, and you get others to get saved. That's all there is to it. Well, how does that come? Well, there's many ways. That comes by giving, that comes by praying, that comes by reading, that comes by coming to church, that comes by going out and sharing with others, that comes by witnessing, that comes by changing your life, that comes by your words. All those things happen as accumulation, but it's real simple. You get saved, and then you get others to get the same thing you got. That's all it is. That's all that God asks of us. But that's the things pertaining to God. Now look here. If we're saved, then we should be doing the second one. But if we're not saved, we can't do the second one. Or if we are saved and in some sin, we can't do the second one. So what happens is we look at the mortal earthly things and we don't look at the eternal things. The only thing that matters in a church is how many people the church wins to the Lord. Well, now wait a minute, what about discipleship? Well, discipleship will come, but you've got to get them saved. So, look, the same man that I'm talking about at the Southern Baptist Convention, I heard another interview today with him, with another group about something else, which I won't get into. But here's what he said at the end of this. He says, look here, here's the problem. He says the non-Calvinist, which means to me that he is a Calvinist, or he wouldn't say that. And a Calvinist, the nutshell, believes that God picks out some people and don't pick out others. That's just not scripture. God said, whosoever will, that he don't want any to perish, but all to come to repentance. We just read the scripture. Okay, but here's what he said. He says, all the non-Calvinists think that there is to this is to just win as many people as they can to Jesus. I shouted, no! Man, he didn't hear me, but I said, what else is there? What? I'm not standing up here and spitting on y'all 6 rows back just to be spitting. I'm not standing here busting out a vein in my neck to preach. I'm not sitting here screaming. I'm not sitting here going to the hospitals for nothing else except that people will come to Jesus. What else is there to be preaching about? Oh yeah, but you got to get us to feel ourselves on the inside. No, I've got to get you to come to Jesus. I got to love you enough to care enough about you that it'll admonish you when you're in your sins to get out of those sins so that you can go and fulfill the same thing again. That's all the purpose of any believer that's ever been is. So if that's what he's calling one, I is it. And everybody else in this building ought to be. Because we ought to be bringing other people to Jesus. Life brings life. Now you don't believe this. You have a baby at the hospital, and every kinfolk from here to Hawaii will be at the hospital. And everybody there will be celebrating. There'll be bows on the doors. People bring gifts, have baby showers, to do everything in the world for them, and even babysit the baby when he's screaming his lungs out. Okay? Everybody do everything. But now look, a death comes. Who wants to go to that? Does anybody in their right mind really want to say you want to go to a funeral home every night? And you'd go to the birth of a baby every day. See, life brings life. Death brings death. So what we must do is not die. We must share the love of Christ. That's what brings about life. And when we don't do that, what we're really doing is bringing about death. Because I have news for you. 100 years from now, if the Lord tarries his coming, then none of us will be in this building. And if we don't bring forth life, you know what that means? The door's shut. That's death. But if we systematically share the love of Christ, 70 at a time, 40 at a time, 20 at a time, 10 at a time, 5 at a time, then here's what happens. New birth comes in. Time. I want to be around that. So, I know y'all going to think that I flipped my lid, okay? But it's all right. I am crazy, so that's all right. So, August the 4th, Sunday morning, August the 4th. Why'd you pick that day? Because it gives you plenty of time between now and then. Today is the what? 8th. So you got the 12th, the 19th, the 6th, the 2nd, 9th. So you got 13 weeks, 14 weeks to get to there. You got 14 weeks to get to August the 4th. So let me explain what I'm talking about. Fred McCoy just got back from Cuba. First time they've been able to promote the gospel in Cuba in 70 some odd years. They had 158 saved. They're supposed to be there 10 days. Had 158 saved in 4 days. Unbelievable. They wrote him off. Told him he had to come back to America. Couldn't stay 10 days. So in the 4 days, the last day, they had been praying for 60 days. 60 days. This little thatched roof hut with posts. He said it would hold about 300 if you set them down in seats underneath that little thatched roof, no sides, post. He said, pull up. It took 7 hours to get there from the airport to this place. Driving. They're driving in a horse and a buggy. You don't even have a road. Okay, you get the setting. 7 hours. They drive, get there. As he's pulling up, underneath the thatch, where there's supposed to be 300, there's 500 underneath it. Standing like cordwood stacked up. Standing underneath it. Outside of that, about 150 yards outside of that, there is nobody. Nobody. But then 150, 200 yards backwards, he said there's thousands of people. He said it's like they had a group over here and then an empty space for 200 yards and then everybody underneath. He said, so I was just dumb enough to ask. He said, I've never seen this. What are they doing way back there? Don't they need to come in where they can hear you? Listen now. He said, no, the people underneath the thatch, the only way they got underneath the thatch was to bring somebody that was lost. Covered up, standing room only. We got padded pews. We got 70-degree air conditioning. And they're in a country that's starving to death in the truth. So August the 4th. Faye's not here, is she? Where is she? She went on that trip, that's right. So Faye's in charge. I'm kidding, but I'm going to tell you. Okay? When you come to the door, if you don't have somebody with you, go back home. Preacher, that's me. No. You got 14 weeks to get somebody with you. Well, you'll have 40 in the building. Well, that's 40 that are lost that'll get to hear the truth. If we had 600 in here, we won't have 40 that don't know Jesus. Well, that's bold. Look, I'm just dumb enough to try what the scriptures say. I'm just dumb enough to do exactly what we're supposed to say we're supposed to be doing. Let's just try it. That means me too. Look, if I don't get the money, I'm not coming. If my wife doesn't, she's not. If my kids don't, they're not. Nobody's coming in if they don't bring somebody with it. That's going to be hard. You telling me you can't find nobody in 14 weeks that's lost to come to church? Well, I'll try, but what if they don't come? Then keep trying. And if they don't work, get on somebody else. If they don't work, get on somebody else. Don't you know more than one person? Everybody in here can raise your hand on 2 or 3 in your family. What about them? August the 4th. Okay? You got plenty of time. Listen, Sunday morning, they're going to go crazy. They're going to think that we have lost our mind. You know, we've already been called a cult, so look here. Look here. The point is we're going to do what Paul did right there. Amen. You got plenty of time to build a relationship with them, to invite them, to bring them, to get them here. How am I going to get here? Tell me you'll buy me lunch when you get here. I can't afford it. Well, tell them Larry will pay for it. I mean, you know. Who cares? Look here. Just get them here. Get them here. I'm only playing. Okay. So look, just get them here. Just August the 4th. Write it down in your mind and put it there. Now, look. If you're right with the Lord, you won't detest that and go out and tell somebody, that will never work, I'm not coming. You need to be right here, right now, if that's what you think. You need to be right here, right now, if that's what you think. Because look here, it works. How do you know it? 2 got saved tonight because 1 did the same thing. See, and look, if that happens in this crowd right here, forget about the Sunday morning. If that happens in this crowd, look here, there's 100 get saved in 1 day. That's about pertaining to God's business. So we need to be busy about it. So we're going to close in prayer up here or there, wherever. But you need to be thinking about the name that you want and pray for that name right now. Everybody in here will pray for that person that they won't hear that does not know Jesus. Now don't go down the street to the road down here and get 2 church members from somewhere else to come here. That's not what we're talking about. Okay? Somebody that does not, or you think does not know Jesus. Got me? August the 4th.